I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. Batman-on-film.com. Ron Lauer. Let's get that URL correct there.
The
Sir?
dashes are important.
They are.
It's
They're
not
very
BOF
important.
without the dashes.
Without the dashes, it's not BOF.
Right.
This, of course, this is episode number 156 of the Social Hour. Let's ride. How are things going?
Good.
How
I'm
are
sitting
things
here in a Batman hoodie, my Batman watch band on my Apple Watch, got Mountain Dew on my Ninja Turtles cup. Bill, I'm ready. I'm good to
you're
go.
all set.
I'm all settled in.
You're all
yeah.
set. Yeah, all
Yeah,
set.
I'm doing decent.
There's news, and we still have some stuff. I mean, every time you think that there's nothing, something always pops up.
There's always something.
Something pops up, Batman on Film. So
Yeah.
let's just get right to it. Yeah.
You know, and not to mention, and Pete mentioned this, the latest Batman on Film podcast that Pete posted that came out, did that drop Monday or over the weekend?
Sunday, yeah.
He brought up about Fridays usually being a news dump.
Yeah.
That was not the case this past Friday.
No.
It's like you thought that we were quiet going into the weekend, and then bam, and then bam, like kind of bookending Friday with two different things kind of dropping. So that's exciting. Like you said, never know. Just when you think it's calm, cool, and collected, the Penguin comes in.
Let's talk about the Penguin is like
All right.
the main part of this. We'll hold off on it because there's like the trailer, and then there's some Colin Farrell quotes that I want to get to.
Cool.
And we'll talk about some Joker 2, and then we'll just start off with the Batman one. So everyone knows the Batman Part 2 was pushed back a full year to October 2nd, right? Am I right? October 2nd, 2026. Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin are still working on the script. Also, there seems to be, with the strikes and everything on halted for everything. I'm not talking about just the Batman Part 2, but everything came to a halt. So there was getting studio soundstage space that wasn't already booked was an issue. So combine that, people that in the know, that were like, Matt Reeves is slow as hell. He's a perfectionist, So look, it's all good. It's a good thing. I think we're getting the Penguin like basically right smack in between Part 1 and Part 2. So, I say after the Penguin's out, you read the prequel novel, you read the Riddler Year One, you watch the Batman, and then you can watch all 8 episodes of the Penguin. That should get you through the 2 years between, the Penguin's coming out this fall, get you to the Batman Part 2, right?
Yeah. I think so. You and I know, as we were talking social hours and on social hours, and we were doing rankums and stuff, we said, get ready for beginning of 2024. We're going to hear some news. Well, then, we still heard the effects of the strikes last year, hence the delaying and the start of filming, like you said. But I think looking at years past Batman films, I think my hunch, my guess would be around maybe May, and then maybe over the summer we'll start to hear some maybe some casting news or something,
Yeah.
And then I think
Uh,
once the Penguin starts, I feel like it'll probably, while that runs, in which I would totally support this as well, news will be quiet on the Batman Part 2 front and just
yeah.
letting the Penguin, you know, be the voice for like the Matt Reeves universe. You know what I mean?
I
Does that
mean,
make sense?
it's almost a sequel to the Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it is a
I
sequel to
stumbled
the Batman.
I stumbled across, so actually, like right before we started recording, I watched the trailer again, no surprise there. But I saw a video that of like a podcast discussion that Colin Farrell did last year with Variety. And this was before they started filming the Penguin even, and he'd even said, that he was unaware of anything with Batman Part 2. He was unaware, like he's like, I don't know anything. So I'm not just saying I don't know. But the Penguin, Matt, I have talked to Matt. I think that's supposed to take a week after the Batman ends, and
Mhm.
then leads right into the Batman Part 2. I
Yeah.
don't know if like I missed that at any point. I'm not bringing anything that anybody doesn't know or anything. It's just like a good refresher in the sense of like how, like you just said, it feels like a sequel, and like it is like a small sequel to the Batman, which is exciting. So it's gonna be our
Yeah.
nice little taste. We're not gonna be
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah. Filming update. I had heard, okay, as it was progressing, I think I even texted you and I was like, heard filming fourth quarter
Mhm.
of this year. And this is before the news, it got pushed back, came out. And once that came out, same people said like early 2025. And then so story broke. I don't know, this was this week, I think. I got my days all confused. But forget the name of the website. I want to give them credit because they're the first one that mentioned it, kind of mentioned it. This is me tapping my phone, trying to get to that.
Was it something real?
Yes.
World of Real.
World
According
of
to
Real.
World of
There
Real.
you go. Yeah, there you go. Want to give those folks credit. World of Real says February, March. I've heard April thrown in there, but it seems like that's all early. That's all early 2025. So I expect it to take place then, and we'll start getting some news later this year. And speaking of like casting news and things like that, there's a rumor going around about I know the actor because I watched both of the things that he was known for. And I forget his name, but he was in Narcos and he was in
Holbrook.
Yeah, Holbrook.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
It starts with a D. I don't know if it's David Holbrook or I'm gonna look that up now. Nope, not David Holbrook. But carry on, and then I'll.
Well, there's a rumor popped up that he had been cast as Harvey Dent for the Batman Part 2. I had a few people send it to me through email, this casting, that he'd been cast as Harvey Dent. And
Boyd Holbrook. Boyd Holbrook.
Okay.
There we go. That's his name.
And it originated from, I forget the name of the website, but it's one of those websites where you can become a member and you can just post stories about anything you want.
Yeah.
So and I went, yeah, that's kind of iffy. So I asked some people and they were like, no, that's bullshit. So there you go.
I mean, they're still writing the scripts.
Yeah. There's no casting until the script is done. So,
but
look,
I see. And whatever you mentioned, I remember whatever you said about like the quote unquote site, I'd seen it from somewhere else. And I was just like, guys, just look at the names of these things. Like,
Yeah, it got picked up.
Jump around bouncy house site says blah blah blah. It's like, I don't believe it. Like, I just don't believe that. And it's not because I mean Holbrook. I know him from the first thing I remember seeing him from. Well, he was in Gone Girl, but I don't really remember him in Gone Girl. But he was in Logan.
Okay.
He was the villain in Logan. And that's where he really got my attention. And I thought like, oh wow, this guy, he can bring it. And then I didn't see Narcos, but I did see the series
Sandman?
Justified. I
Oh,
didn't see
okay.
Sandman either.
Okay.
Justified City Primeval. He was like the main guy, like the main villain in that one too. And I'm a big Justified fan. And that like he's a powerful like force. He's a good actor. So it's not like I'm against it or anything like that. It's just the pure fact of like, guys, let's not even talk about this because it's just kind of it's crap. And then when you come on to him, like, so I've actually checked, it's BS. Like, okay, well then I'm not gonna get excited for it.
Yeah. I watched both Sandman and Narcos, so I know the actor. I would have no problem if he was cast.
Sure. Whatever he wants to be.
Yeah. So that's not the issue, but it's just from what I'm told, it's just not true because they haven't done any casting. Now, look, I'm of the belief, this is just me, this is no inside information, it's just purely me and me doing fan fiction, which I try not to do, but I will go ahead, I go ahead in this case. I've always thought that it just made total sense for Harvey Dent to show up in the Batman Part 2 or the Penguin. I don't know if he's in the Penguin. We haven't heard anything. So probably not. But I mean, you've got the DA was killed by the Riddler, and just like we talked about with Falcone's all his shenanigans coming to bring him into the light, all that. Mm-hmm. Well, once they got into the light and
you goddamn rat.
Yeah. He got whacked, then we know that there's just this power vacuum in Gotham, underworld, mobster vacuum leadership there. We figured, well, Sal Maroni will probably get released from prison. I wouldn't doubt he was in the Penguin. Well, he's in the Penguin. Yeah. So
I think you and I brought it up quite a few times about we would not be surprised because it's kind of like Begins. When that DA gets whacked in Begins, it was like, well, Harvey Dent's coming. And I mean, kind of the same thing here when DA gets whacked. It's like, well, they didn't fill that vacancy by the end of the Batman. So it's like, okay, well, Harvey Dent's coming. It's just, I wonder when. I feel like with the Penguin coming out this fall, I think I feel like we would have heard it if he was by now for the Penguin.
Sure.
I don't know anything. Just, guessing. I just feel like we'd have heard that by now. So maybe he's being saved for the Batman Part 2, which, hey, of course, I have no problem with that either. It's a vacant spot that's just, I don't know. Doesn't feel like if, but when.
Yeah. I am also, let me do some more fan fiction here. I would like to see, like, let's just say he's in the Batman Part 2, just for fun. I'd like to see him, Harvey Dent, the whole thing.
Yep.
No Two-Face, not even a hint of it,
Yeah.
Save that. It would make it, we haven't seen that before. Like in Batman Forever, he's Two-Face from the get-go. I mean, literally from the beginning of the film, and after the, okay, drive through, after that, and the vault scene with
after
Two-Face
that wants to play, he'll play.
Yeah. Yes. And then, of course, in The Dark Knight, got a lot of Harvey Dent. Two-Face at the end, but that was the end. That was the end of it, and it makes sense for The Dark Knight. It works in the context of Dark Knight.
How would you throw Billy D in there? Because there were no nods of him as Two-Face, but I almost feel like he's almost a glorified cameo of the Billy D. Williams for that movie.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't, because we didn't see Two-Face. I kind of let that slip my mind. But yeah, we did see We saw Harvey Dent in Batman.
But it's just like, I don't know. I think it's easy for it to almost slip your mind, and maybe that's sacrilege for some people listening that love that movie. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
It's like, but I think there was some. It's been known that there is like Harvey Dent material left on the cutting room floor, whether via script or filmed and cut from that movie, to where it is like, I think you could take Harvey Dent out of that movie and it would have not mattered.
Yeah.
It could have just been the mayor and Gordon talking instead of the mayor, Gordon, and Dent in that movie, and it wouldn't have changed anything. So
Yeah.
it's like, technically, yes, Harvey was in that movie, but we want him to be third name on the call sheet or something.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. A bigger
Big
role
presence
for Harvey than
Yeah.
what we got with Batman 80, even though that was setting up Two-Face for later, because we all know, well, at least Batman fans knew. They knew it was Harvey Dent. I don't know how, I don't know how many people back in 89, the general audience went and saw it and went, oh, that guy's gonna be Two-Face, I bet, whatever. So yeah, I'm just saying, like to see like this total Harvey Dent, good guy, and then we'll leave Two-Face for part 3 or whatever. Hell, maybe Harvey gets his own
I was gonna say
Max show,
Dent, and it's a legal show in the very last 5 minutes of the series, splashed in the face with acid.
You got,
that'd be a son of a bitch, wouldn't it?
It's not that bad of an idea,
Bill.
Actually,
Perry Mason, but Harvey Dent instead. Like just going court cases of Gotham City he's prosecuting all these mob guys. Hey,
how many ideas have we given?
There.
We've given Matt Reeves and from these podcasts over, the last couple of years. You need to put us on the payroll.
I'll expect an email from him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves at mattreeves.com.
Yeah. I'm not a bad idea. So just keep that tucked away in our
food for thought.
So it'll turn into Batman on Film says Harvey Dent Max series coming.
Max series coming
after
produced
Batman
by
parts.
the BOF Studios, the first one to get up and running.
All right. So yes, Penguin's coming. We're gonna get to more Penguin talk in a minute. And the Batman 2 will be here. And I was like in that article, I said, it's gonna get here before you know it. We go, oh my God, another year. Hey, The Dark Knight was 16 years ago.
Batman Begins was 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, how many times have we said waiting on a movie? I can't wait for it. Like, it's never going to get here. And The Dark Knight, 16. Batman Begins, 19. Come on. The Batman itself, the last one we're 2 years past the Batman now. So it comes and goes fast. That's how life go, man. All right. Joker 2, Folio Do.
So your French Canadian fan Reno.
Yeah.
I said folie du. And I kind of did a little tongue in cheek with the du. And he said that was pretty close to being correct. And I'm like, all right, I don't know French other than counting 1 to 10. Joker 2 sounds pretty good to me.
I was watching this new crime series on Netflix. It just came out. And it's like an anthology. Each episode is a different case in New York City. Forget the name of it. But anyway, I like that stuff. And you had the second episode was these 2 young kids killed a guy in Central Park. And that's what it was about. They were like 14, 15 years old. And one of the prosecutors who was part of the case was talking about it and said it was a folie du. I went, Joker 2.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Heck? Yeah. So
now all I can think of, of what you, as you were just describing this show, because now it's on my mind, is like,
Yeah.
you know, they could do a Gotham version of this. Of like,
Yeah.
an anthology series, and every episode is a crime that happened in Gotham City.
Oh, that
Just
would
saying.
be,
Another one.
and do it like it is an actual documentary.
Yeah.
Y-
Yeah.
There you,
And they talk to psychologists, they talk to like
Yeah.
actual doctors, and there's actually a Dr. Harleen Quinzel, there's a medical doctor, a Dr. Tompkins. I mean, come on.
yeah.
It's
Yeah. We're just spitting out the ideas today.
yeah.
Spitting
Got
out
tons.
the ideas today.
What's that?
I had-
BOF confirms a true crime Gotham documentary. Okay.
I even speaking of true crime,
All right.
True Detective.
It's all connected. Yeah.
It's a teaser here. It was I'm finishing up my mailbag for this month, and someone asked a question about if I want to see a live action Batman TV series like on Max or whatever, and I was like, I am of the sort that would rather, I want to see Batman on the big screen, and I want it to be a big event. So I don't want to see, full on Batman. But if you did it, I mean, I would be down for like a Batman version of True Detective. Have you watched True Detective on HBO?
Not since season 2. Loved season 1.
Yeah,
didn't like season 2, but I know what True Detective is. I know how the show goes.
Could you see like a Batman version of that?
Yeah.
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 Here we go.
As I said in 2022, when I took my time off with work, I told my boss, I'm like, I hope you understand, this is bigger to me than Christmas. We get Christmas every year.
Yeah.
A new Batman movie in a theater. It's a big deal. I gotta take time off. He understands.
Yeah.
Like so I'm with you. I'm with you of like, yeah, sure. People can say like, yeah, give me more. But then he becomes, and I'm not trying to go down any kind of tirade. It can become less special.
Yeah.
And I want Batman movies to be events. I want them to be big deals. People pay attention. It's the talk, in pop culture and stuff. It's like I like that. And if Batman is everywhere all the time, it takes away from that. And I like how he has his moments in the spotlight, and you and I talked about how by the end of the Batman, like the setting is good to where like it won't get to the Dark Knight, but it's laying the seeds to build to get up to, big pop culture event kind of level. So I hope that it gets there, because that's, I kind of experienced it with Batman Forever, too young for Batman, but I was right in the thick of it for the Dark Knight, and it was a lot of freaking fun.
It is. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor. So we started with Joker. I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. What else we got to talk about?
All that. So it's being described now. It's a jukebox musical. And think of Mamma Mia.
Hero.
Foreigner.
Jukebox
There you go.
Hero. Anyways,
big song.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah, I had that. I had the cassette back in the day. Foreigner on that album, Foreigner 4, Jukebox Hero. Okay, back in high school, jukebox musical like Mamma Mia, Moulin Rouge, all those ones. Like there's songs in there, and everybody knows them, and you can sing to them and whatnot. So it's a jukebox musical, like with 15 classic or well-known songs. It says 15 well-known songs. It's just nuts. I'm so intrigued by this. And I don't even like musicals. I've never seen Mamma Mia.
I haven't either.
I mean, the only musical that I know that I've seen and I like is probably Grease. I was a kid when that came out, So
I thought you were going to say Music Meister.
Well,
but that's television.
Yeah,
not
I'm
exactly
not
a movie.
musicals on the big screen.
There's Disney cartoons that I know are probably considered musicals, and to that it's like, okay, then I like more musicals than I say.
Sure. Yeah,
But
sure.
as far as like, I always talk about like Nightmare Before Christmas is a musical. I love that
Yeah.
movie. I like Grease. I like Wizard of Oz. And
Okay.
I like
There.
South
Okay.
Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Like
Yeah.
that's my musical movies that I like. I choose, watch, listen to, and that's like it. So yeah, I'm not necessarily a musical fan either. And this has me so intrigued. And I remember a few, maybe 2 months back, I said the cinematographer's Larry Shear.
Yeah.
Um, that he had said that it's not a musical in the sense of like what you think with musicals. It's he said something along the lines of, it's heavily music influenced and music, is like so, are used like in a different kind of way rather than what you instantly picture of like Joaquin and Lady Gaga jumping around singing and dancing throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they don't do that. It's just it like intrigued even more by the sense of like it's a musical. Then he makes those comments, and then this article comes out, and it's just like, man, I can't like we're gonna get our first taste in a. I think Todd Phillips said that a trailer was coming in April. We're gonna get our first taste, maybe even like maybe in a week.
Yeah.
What this is gonna look and feel like in a sense, and I'm really intrigued by it.
It's just crazy because I was one of those people who are like adamant not in favor of a
Mhm.
Joker sequel because I thought the brilliance of Joker was how ambiguous it was when it comes to what was real, what was imagination, what was fantasy in Arthur Fleck's head, and it can be as much or as little as you as the viewer interpreted it to be, and and I was like, I don't want to know, I don't want to know what was real and what wasn't, and I think that, but this kind of, once I heard Lady Gaga and musical, I was like, okay, I'm all in on this because it's doing something different with this genre, something really unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, like when it comes to as far as like director Todd Phillips, forgive me, I don't know if he's also writing it, if he also wrote it, or if it was somebody else writing it. But as far as like Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and Lady Gaga, the three of them, I just feel like didn't have to do this movie.
Yeah.
They're sitting pretty in Hollywood as far as like I think they can kind of choose what they want, and they chose this.
It's so
So it's
far
another layer.
It's so
of,
far
like,
from what Joaquin Phoenix, what he's done in his career. I don't think he's ever done a sequel to anything,
Yeah, so it is. It's just kind of it's really intriguing, and I'm not a fanboy that's going to be like, I can't wait. This movie's going to be so awesome because I just don't know anything other than little comments here and there and a couple of pictures that were released. But it's like I'm in. I'm really curious about it. And remember Inside Editions, was it last year or the end of 2022? They released the Batman and Joker like hardcover, the scripts, the scripts of those two movies. And I bought both of them, and I've yet to read the Joker one, and I really want to because I'm really curious of like because we know that there's this like what was on the script is not like what we saw in the theater, that there were changes, and I'm really curious what kind of changes happened. So I'll definitely make it a mission to read that before the movie comes out, and then like even commenting how that I was in the same camp of I don't know where I sit with the movie, and I don't want someone to tell me. I want to, if I'm going to choose a lane of what I believe happened in the movie, I want to figure that out on my own. And I remember a buddy of mine saw the movie, and he texted me that he saw it, and I forget what his comment was. And I go, well, do you think it all really happened, or was it in his head? And that was like for him, kind of like, And he's like, I didn't even think about that. And then he was sitting there torn and kind of,
Yeah.
going back and thinking too of like, well, hell, now I don't know. And I was like, you're welcome. That's kind of where I'm sitting of things throughout the movie can lend both ways. And I just bravo on how Todd Phillips and company made that happen. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, what is the sequel going to do with that? Is it choosing it for you, or is it adding a freaking third, like a detour of that path?
It's
So I don't know.
It's got to be something that we totally not expecting, because just like me going, I don't want a sequel to the Joker because I don't want to know. Well,
yeah,
I think they wouldn't do it if it was something really twist, has a twist and it's so different than what anybody would expect, that besides being the musical and all of that. But they said also there could be up to two original songs. We'll see. I mean, you got Lady Gaga in there. Come on now. Let's go.
Taylor Swift, obviously.
Yeah. So I'm just like, let's ride, let's ride right into October. I want to see this movie. So yeah.
The one that they did highlight was the song "That's Entertainment." From the 1953 musical The Bandwagon.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie. I don't know the song, but I looked it up just out of curiosity because that's one that was specifically mentioned. And it starts, anything that happens in life can happen in a show. You can make them laugh. You can make them cry. Anything can go. The clown with his pants falling down, or the dance that's a dream of romance, or the scene where the villain is mean, that's entertainment. Lyrics, just right there, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it instantly made me think of, the second trailer for Joker, and the Sinatra and Send in the Clown.
Yeah.
That's just like when I started listening to this song and they're looking at those lyrics, it took me right to that moment, and how it's not like, annoyingly on the nose, but just like, maybe a little bit of a wink and a little bit of a nod. Like, huh.
Well, it's going to be,
I don't know.
It'll be fun to find out. That's the thing about it. I'm so interested. I'm intrigued. It's going to be fun to find out. And also in that article, I mentioned Zazie Beetz is in it.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So who's the the imaginary girlfriend who was real, but in his mind, he had a relationship with her. So how does this, how's that going to fit in here?
Last we saw her, she was big time. WTF are you doing in my apartment?
Yeah.
And then leaving her fate, up to our imagination as well.
Yeah.
So maybe she's not even alive. Maybe it's a flashback of some sort. I don't know. Maybe he's shit. I don't know though. I got to stop. I don't know.
We're writing all kind of stuff today. So
we are. I think I'm wired. What else is in my Mountain Dew cup right here?
All right. So we will see. The Joker comes out in October this year. All right. Let's talk about the Penguin. The Penguin, the trailer. Let's leave the trailer for last. But the Penguin, Colin Farrell has a new movie or new something out. He's doing press for it, and he was asked about the Penguin. He says it's dark. That's what I can tell you. The guy, it was really kind of cool. The guy said, he was like another Irish guy, and he was like, "What can you tell me about this right here?" And took out the McFarlane Penguin action figure, and Colin Farrell's like, "Oh, it's dark. That's what I can tell you." That's my bad Irish accent.
I won't even try.
That's dark. That's what I can tell you about it. It's really dark. It's really heavy, I think. It certainly was doing it, which is not to say I didn't have fun. I had an amazing time doing it. It's incredibly violent. It's got to be like a TVMA, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Like,
yeah.
It just totally feels like, which is funny to me because that's TV's version of rated R. And so you have a quote unquote sequel to a PG-13 movie that's going to be rated R. And then the follow up to that would be PG-13. but whatever.
It's I mean, you would expect that also if it's, it's a gang war, mob gang war over battling for Gotham's underworld. So yeah, there's going to be some violence, right?
Well, hell, the Batman was dark.
Yeah.
And that was PG-13. So I don't know, but whatever it is, I like bring it.
Does it trip you out to hear Colin Farrell talk in his regular voice and then hear him as Oz?
Oh, I love it.
It's like
I could listen to him talk for hours in either voice or have a conversation with himself in both voices. Give me that podcast.
Colin Farrell interviewing Oz.
Yeah. And as long as as Oz, he always says Tro. Yes, Tro Parade.
It's just it amazes me still when I see the Penguin, Oz.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see, you can see it in his eyes, the Colin Farrell eyes, but it's still like, it's freaking Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
And he sounds nothing like Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't look like Colin Farrell. It's just,
awesome.
He also says it's one man's rise to what he's always dreamed of inhabiting, which is a certain power or social status. The death of Carmine Falcone at the end of the Batman leaves this vacuum in Gotham to be filled. So there are various people that are grabbing for that power, and it's Oswald's journey trying to rise to the top through extraordinary obstacles. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about this. Let's go right into it. The trailer. What'd you think?
Loved it. Which is funny because I think it tops out. I think the Penguin this fall comes in at maybe a minute 15, and the first 5 seconds of it is just is a teaser for the teaser. So you're getting a minute and 10 seconds maybe. And probably 50 or 45 of that is just Oz talking on a couch visually. Yeah. But it's I don't know, it just gives you that mood, the mood of the show, the tone of the show. And I love that. I love that vibe that it just gives off.
Speaking of the mood, the tone, the look, it's the same Gotham as the Batman. There's no, I mean, it looks, even if I could smell it, it probably smells exactly the same. a lot of, I just love the consistency, from one to another. It's clearly the same Gotham. It was really good, and I watched it over and over again. I just and then I'm obsessed with Rex Calabrese.
Yeah. They throw a parade for him.
A freaking parade.
Money bird.
Yeah.
It's funny because you sent I know you I immediately, not immediately, that same day. So I watched that trailer a couple times, and then I typed in Rex Calabrese.
Yeah.
And I saw, I think it's DC.fandom.
Yeah.
It's a good resource in going deep and looking into some of this stuff. And I read Batman Eternal as it came out. 52 issues. Very heavy undertaking. And I think I read it as it came out, and then I did a full reread as soon as it wrapped, and I haven't revisited it since. I wouldn't have remembered the name or anything, and I didn't. So I read their recap of his story that basically played out in that and everything. I feel like you got a name. It's not I feel like he's not important for this Penguin series. This, him telling that story is just an example of the Oz picture, his goal, what he wants. He wants that treatment. He wants to be remembered that. And he's going to do whatever he needs to get there. That's what the whole point of telling that story. It's like it's a
Yes.
metaphor in a sense, you know.
I think people started to read way too much into it once they, I think everybody Googled Rex Calabrese and then saw that he did have it is a DC character from Batman Eternal, the Lion, Rex the Lion Calabrese.
Yeah.
Then he have some kind of put in some metal teeth or something, and he would bite people's throats out.
The image had something like there's something with
Yeah.
his heart, or chest or whatever too, and it's just like, yeah, I don't feel like any of that's coming. But I don't know. I don't know.
And there was like he ended up being Selena's father, some crazy, And
Yeah.
so I think they were just reading way too much. Like, they're going to bring in Rex Calabrese, and that's going to end up being Selena's father. And I mean, I just don't think it still goes that deep. I believe it's just it was a deep pull. They just used a name. They needed a name for him telling that story, and they just pull that out. Rex Calabrese. He call you name. He call you name. He saw you.
Imagine that. There's that accent too, that Oz accent. I think it's actually really, and it's a small moment in it. And I can never, ever since the Long Halloween animated movies, now looped as one long movie, came out. Shout out to our pal Tim Sheridan. I can't see Sophia Falcone without thinking Sophia, like Carmine says in that movie all the time, Sophia. But we get her as you just imagine she's at a cemetery and she does that yell. It's a pretty good effect that lingers over the next, because it's in the montage area, but her scream with that and whatever. To me, because a lot of times when we do see a teaser or a trailer for an upcoming season of a show, a lot of the footage is like the first episode. Then I'm like, I'm curious what they're gonna do with her, because I instantly would think, oh, just like in comics, she's gonna come into town and it's gonna be like, well, it's now it's mine. But the original teaser we saw for the Penguin, she was sitting at a restaurant across from Oz, and I think they even cheered, So it'd be curious with her, and also like just aesthetics alone of in the comics. So Sophia, she's a big beast of a human being, and it seems like this actress is like a little thing.
Yeah.
So it's curious what they're gonna have her presence be like, and stuff in that too, and then also Michael Kelly, who he played, I think, Lombard in Man of Steel, because it's all connected.
Yeah.
He's playing Johnny Vitti in this, and we get a really quick shot with him where it looks like Penguin's throwing him up against the wall in this too. Aesthetically, very different from the bull-cutted nephew Johnny Vitti in the comics. Curious, like, how does he fit into that as well? So I don't know. It's just like quick, snippets of stuff. And then Maroni, we see Oz visiting him. I'm going blank. Did they mention anything about Maroni was in Blackgate, or did they say anything about where he was?
I don't remember, but I know they, you see Clancy Brown in there, and he's Maroni, so obviously it was Maroni.
He's behind bars somewhere.
Yeah.
In that, whatever that shot is. So that too, I don't know. It's like obviously very intentional shots included in this trailer. And I just think like, oh, those are going to be some main players, Like it's very exciting.
It was kind of like just showing you quickly who's in it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I guess if you're watching it and you're a layman, the Batman layman, you don't know that that's Sophia Falcone or whatever, but Oz, Colin, that's Colin Farrell. If you watch, so yeah, I am, I thought it was great. I did I just like the whole voiceover, him telling the story about Rex Calabrese, and then how it just sets up what he's after. He wants to be the new Rex Cal. You know, throw him a parade, freaking parade.
My neighborhood, 12 parade.
You know, it was.
I'd
I'm
throw a
looking forward to
parade
it.
for Rex Calabrese.
Yes, I would too.
Why not?
He'd call you by name. He'd call you out if he saw you.
He would.
And neighborhood loved him. He cared about people.
He cared about people.
He cared about his people in his neighborhood. That's why they threw him a parade.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's is that enough for you? Do you want to see another trailer?
Oh yeah. No. No,
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. As I get older, I do get very like show me less. And so many trailers for things now, you know, I start to hover over to see if it's close to being finished, and it's still got like 45 seconds or a minute. And I'm like, but I'm good right now. Like, this is fine. I'm sold. I don't need to watch anymore. And this, you know, this didn't show that much. And I was completely fine with that. I'm like, I don't need to see it anymore. I'm sold. I was well, they didn't even have to sell me. You know,
no.
I'm there.
I was already there.
First episode. I'm there. So maybe it's going to take more work for other people to, you know, be aware and jump in. But yeah, for me, I'm there. Give you money now.
I can certainly see Max, Warner Brothers Discovery, buying a little NFL spot time, commercial time before this comes out. Because that would be a lot of the same target audience, in my opinion. So we'll see what, you know, I was like, it'd be like, I know I'll probably be watching a game and then a Penguin TV spot will come on and I'll do like that.
The Leo. Yeah. DiCaprio. Oh!
Yeah.
You have your Miller Lite in one hand and be, there it is.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the latest Batman on film news. That we have. A lot of different things. Musical Joker 2, the Batman Part 2 filming update. And of course, a lot of Penguin. We got it, you know. I figure we'll be talking a lot about the Penguin as we get closer, because they will market it and they will, you know, do some publicity for it for sure.
Well, you know.
And, you know,
he's a proprietor.
He is. Oh, I know I wanted to mention about it. I did like, because I never saw this in the Batman. So if I missed it, you can correct me. But the fact that Oz wears the leg brace that causes his limp.
I cannot definitively say that it was or was not in the movie. I know in watching it that I thought it was new for this trailer.
I did too.
So
adds a little, you know, I know that Reeves had talked about there's almost a sympathetic aspect toward Oz, because like that cut scene with him and Selena before she goes to the what is it, the 40 below?
Was it 44 below?
44 below. The club within the club. You know what I'm talking about.
220, 221,
whatever it takes. Yeah. They cut that scene out and showed, you know, that he had a moment of humanity and like he cared about her and, you know, and that he's probably always been looked down upon. And, you know, he was a secondary, you know, to Carmine, was kind of his valet in a way, you know. He's his right-hand man, but, you know, he was Mr. Falcone. Falcone was the boss. Now, it kind of goes in with that scene from the Batman where, you know, at the end when you just see him staring out the window. And so you can, you know, you're already thinking, and even in that time when I saw the movie, I'm thinking he's gonna try to seize this opportunity right here, you know.
Yeah.
And we're going to get the whole story in the Penguin. So there you go. So we did all of that. We've come up with another addition to the Batman saga with what was it? What was our idea?
The Dent Perry Mason show.
Oh yeah, the Dent. Yeah, the crime drama, legal drama. Legal drama. Dent.
Yes, Dent.
It's Dent. That's it.
Yeah.
Could it be Harvey Dent, district attorney?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of like old school title for something, right? Like you would see like back in the day on TV, it was always, Jim Swanson, Private Eye, or
Dent, GCDA, Gotham City District Attorney.
Let's go.
Just something.
Let's go.
Done.
We wrote stuff. We kind of get ready to get a True Detective Batman version, the whole everything. All right.
Did a really good, Irish impression.
I don't know if
I've covered it all.
I got some. we do have some Irish BOFers, so I'm sure I'll hear it.
They're offended.
I'll hear it. Yeah,
no?
I'm sure.
Damn it, Bill.
Yeah. It's like someone trying to do a Texas accent. I'm like, no, it's not Texas accent. Yeah,
that's not his.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about Pete.
Yeah, Pete. All right. So, you want to plug anything?
Sure. I had let's see. I wrote a review for the latest issue of Batman at the beginning of the month. It's not very positive. I like to talk positive. So, it's been a busy week for my podcast, The Batman Book Club. 2 episodes posted this week. Both episodes were with, one was with an artist and one was with a writer of books. So check those out on Batman on Film proper. One is with Anthony Marquez, the artist of Batman, The Audio Adventures. Great discussion, really fun talking with him. And then most recently that just dropped was with Mark Russell, who is the writer of the just dropped Batman book, Batman Dark Age. He's done a bunch of stuff. He did Superman Space Age, which I also really enjoy. And then Michael Allred's the artist for that book and this new Batman book. So they both of them are really good and giving a lot of information, easy to talk to, a lot of fun. Check those out wherever you listen to podcasts, or just go to Batman-on-film.
I'm here.
Bill bought Batman the Audio Adventures.
Yes.
You got it.
I got it.
Have you ready yet?
Your pod started.
Okay. All right.
Started. I
got that. Let me know what you think.
I did. I got it because you're listening to your podcast, and I was honored that dude was a BOF fan.
That's right.
Dropped it. I had back in the day. Yeah.
We talked like 15 minutes before we even hit record. Like as soon as we our Zoom popped up, we just started chatting about sports. He too is against Pete and all of his Tide fans. He's a Go Bluer, Anthony was. But then I had no idea that he, long ago read, BOF before. It wasn't until I started recording. And then he brought up the fact that, he's a longtime BOFer. And then he hinted in that discussion about upcoming projects that he could not confirm, but he said that he hinted at it throughout our discussion. And then, as soon as I stopped recording with him, he did tell me what those projects are. And they will be very cool.
All right. Looking forward to that. All right. So all I got is Batman-on-film.com as well. Just go there, check everything out from everybody. And with that, announcer Rachel, let me get her name correct. Announcer Rachel will finish up here.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Say goodbye, Graceland.